Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the very arteries of India, its mighty river systems. We're going to trace their paths all the way from icy Himalayan peaks down to the warm southern seas. And along the way, we'll see how they've not only shaped the land, but have been the cradle of civilizations and are still the lifeblood for over 1 billion people. So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start by learning the language of rivers, just the basics. Then we'll meet India's 2 distinct river families, explore the absolute giants of the Himalayas and the rivers of the peninsula, and finally, we'll look at the critical connection between water, wealth, and waste. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's learn the language of rivers. Before we can really appreciate their epic stories, we need to get a handle on the basic terms that define how they even work. It all really starts with this simple question. What makes a river go where it goes? You might think, well, gravity, of course. And you're not wrong, but the real answer is way more interesting. The land itself is like an architect, drawing up this incredibly detailed blueprint that guides every single drop of water on its journey. Our first key term is the drainage basin. The easiest way to think about this is like a giant funnel. Every single drop of rain that falls within the rim of that funnel gets collected and channeled down into one single river system. It really is the river's entire kingdom, the whole area it commands. So, if drainage basins are giant funnels, what separates them? Well, that's called a water divide. It's just any high ground, a mountain, a ridge that acts like a wall. Water that falls on one side flows one way, water on the other side flows a completely different way. A perfect real-world example is the city of Ambala. It sits on a divide that separates the massive Indus system from the Ganga system. All right, now that we've got the basics down, let's see how this all comes together in India. It's fascinating because the country's whole network of rivers can really be split into 2 major families, and each one has its own unique origin story and, well, its own personality. Now, this table is super important because it just lays out the fundamental differences so clearly. Just look at the origin row. Himalayan rivers get their water from 2 sources, rain and melting snow. That means they're perennial. They flow all year round. The peninsula rivers, though, they're seasonal. They depend completely on rainfall. And that one difference changes everything. It's why one group has these long, deep courses and the other is shorter and shallower. So let's head north and meet that first family, the giants of the Himalayas. These are the powerful, perennial rivers born from ice and snow, the true titans of the subcontinent. First up, the legendary Indus. Its journey starts way up in Tibet, near the sacred lake Mansarovar. From there, it flows west, carving this absolutely breathtaking path through Ladakh. We're talking about a colossal river here, stretching almost 2,900 kilometers and collecting water from major tributaries before it finally empties out into the Arabian Sea. Next up, the Ganga. This is a river that's so much more than just water. It's a cultural and economic lifeline for hundreds of millions of people. It starts its journey high in the Ganga Glacier and emerges onto the plains at Haridwar, creating one of the most fertile and densely populated regions on Earth. But all that intense human activity has led to serious pollution, which is exactly why huge conservation efforts like the Namamai Gange program are so absolutely critical for its future. And the Brahmaputra, wow, this river is pure drama. For a huge part of its life, it flows through Tibet as the Tsangpo, pretty calmly. But then it makes this spectacular, sharp U-turn to burst into India. Its power is incredible. It carries enough silt to create Majuli, the world's largest river island. But that power is a double-edged sword because it also unleashes devastating floods every single year, a constant challenge for everyone living there. Okay, let's journey south now, across that great water divide, to meet the second family, the ancient, rain-fed rivers of the peninsula. These rivers have a completely different feel to them, shaped by a much older landscape. Down in the peninsula, geography creates another big split. Most of the major rivers flow east, into the Bay of Bengal. As they slow down near the coast, they drop all the sediment they're carrying and form these large, fan-shaped deltas, which are incredibly fertile. But then you have a few rebels, like the Narmada and Tapi, that flow west. Their journey is shorter and steeper, so they form estuaries, these deep channels where the river's freshwater meets the salty sea. So let's talk about the king of the peninsular rivers, the Godavari. At 1,500 kilometers, it's the longest, and it has the largest drainage basin in this whole family. Its sheer scale and cultural importance have earned it the nickname Dakshin Ganga, the Ganga of the South. That really tells you everything about how important it is to the region. Now, the Narmada is fascinating because it's a rebel. It bucks the trend and flows west. And it does this by following a rift valley, basically a channel that was created when a block of land sank between two geological faults. This unique path creates some truly spectacular scenery, like the stunning Marble Rocks Gorge and the powerful Duadar Falls. And of course, the peninsula is crisscrossed by other vital arteries. You've got the Krishna, which is an agricultural powerhouse. To the east, the Mahanadi carves its path through Odisha, and down south, the sacred Kaveri creates the magnificent Shivasamudram Falls, which is actually the second largest waterfall in all of India. Okay, finally, let's zoom out and talk about the critical relationship between all these rivers and us. For thousands of years, they've been this incredible source of life and wealth, but today they are also becoming a dumping ground for our waste. I mean, it's all right here. Rivers are the absolute backbone of our economy and our environment. They do so much more than just move water. They irrigate our farms, generate our power, support entire ecosystems, and give us beautiful places for tourism and recreation. Their value is just almost impossible to measure. But this is where we hit a huge problem. It's a vicious cycle. Our demand for water keeps growing, for our homes, farms, factories, so we pull more and more water out. At the same exact time, we dump untreated waste back in. Eventually, you hit a tipping point where the river's natural ability to clean itself is just completely overwhelmed. And the result? The very source of our life becomes dangerously polluted. And that brings us to the crucial question, doesn't it? These rivers literally gave birth to some of the world's oldest civilizations. They are the foundation of modern India. They have sustained us for thousands of years. The question we all have to answer now is, can they survive us? The challenge for our generation is to change our relationship with these vital waterways, to make sure they continue to flow, clean, and healthy for all the generations still to come.